Hey everybody, how's it going? Decided to take an impromptu trip up to Mount Baldy today to do some meditation and just to separate myself a little bit and get that calm demeanor that is so present up here in the locations that I decided to visit the most. This is a bit of a spiritual haven for me. You guys know you've seen all kinds of pictures from my times up here, but the place means a lot to me, so decided to head back up out here to this one specific spot that I've been returning to the past month or so. And I've been doing some rune work recently. They've been on my mind a lot, and I've been seeking to understand them a bit more than I have in the past. Most specifically, Fehu. Now, Fehu is associated with Freya, and its definition is transferable wealth, or just wealth generally. But most specifically, what's been on my mind the most is its transferable nature. Like, what does that really mean? So I decided to come up here, and I hiked down a little bit from where I'm at right now. There's some running water down there. Show up, cleanse myself a little bit. This is why I'm still a little damp, but just take some of the water from the running water and cleanse myself with it. Just kind of get acquainted and put myself in that mindset to sit there and study and meditate and just let these things sink in. Develop that focus. I decided to sit down, I'm meditating, and I hear the running water next to me. And it's running, I'm sitting there and letting myself to be taken in by the moment, and I can see the letters of the rune. The formative line that acts as its trunk and the roots that grow beneath it, and then the branches that branch off. And I can see the rune, and I start understanding as I'm listening to the water what transferable wealth is. Transferable wealth is wealth that is so valuable as you can't ascribe a number to it. It's wealth that is of an otherworldly, even spiritual nature. It's not the kind of wealth that we think of when we imagine, like, we see a dollar bill in our head, we see nice houses, we see fancy shoes, fancy cars, whatever it is. We associate wealth with dollar amounts and numbers, when in fact, as I'm listening to the water run by me, I'm imagining just taking in the idea of how significant water is. As it's purifying itself, running through this stream, going over rocks, running through leaves. Without water, without the resources that we have, without nature, without the plants that pump out oxygen to the air, and oxygen's arguably even more important, but just in this moment, I'm stuck with this water, this thought of how valuable these resources that we take for granted are, and what wealth really means, because that without those resources, we would have nothing. Without those resources, we could not be possible. Without these resources, life as we know it wouldn't be able to exist, if life at all would exist in a world like that, or on a planet like that, which I'm sure they do exist somewhere. But the kind of wealth that I'm fascinated by and interested in is the wealth of an eternal nature, wealth of a spiritual nature, wealth that can't be given a certain numerical value, because that's the wealth that truly is desirable, and that's the wealth that you should ascribe to know and to possess. And whether that be insight, spiritual insight, or just a connection with the world around you, to me, that is really what wealth is. I would like to just end off as rambling a little bit before I get even more pink in the face because the sun's shining at me. Just encourage you to consider the topic of wealth, or even if you're studying any of the other runes and whatever they represent, begin to test your perceptions of things. Awareness, I've had two. Awareness and perception are the most important spiritual principles as far as understanding and developing your own spiritual path. So I'd like to leave you with that. Consider what wealth really means to you. Many blessings to everybody else. Have a fantastic rest of your day.